Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Welcome everyone to the BX Sports JEDI Network MMA Weekly of Austin and Chef Dan. I am Austin. It's my co-host Chef Dan. How you doing tonight, Chef Dan?
Salute to you, Austin. Salute to everyone joining us. Thank you so much. I am here. I am excited off of a surprising UFC card, but I want to get right into it. How about you, Austin?
Doing well, and you're right. It was a surprising UFC card in terms of every fight had a finish. Even the prelims.
Yeah.
Which is the first time that's happened since 2014, I believe, in the UFC, where an entire card had a finish, which just shows how rare it is. I mean, very surprising.
It is. It was very surprising. It was exciting to see that was the result that it was, but I'm gonna say, me personally, it didn't feel like a card like that where every fight got a finish at the end of it. It was nice to hear that statistic. It was surprising to, even see that, but coming away from it, I don't know what, maybe because the post-fight interviews didn't have as much excitement as I would have hoped for, especially when you hear a card has that much, finishes, but we'll get into it.
I agree with you there, but we'll get into it. I agree. And before we start, we just want to give a shout out to our podcasting platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Reason, Anchor FM, Reason FM, etc. Thank you guys for listening to us on the podcasting platforms, or watching us on YouTube or Rumble, where we live or afterwards. We appreciate love, support, and let's get into it right now. What happened this past Saturday? This past Saturday was the UFC on ESPN, UFC Vegas 59 from the Apex. It was the main event between Thiago Santos and Jamal Hill in the light heavyweight division, as Jamal Hill gets the fourth round TKO victory against Thiago Santos, 2 minutes and 31 seconds in the fourth round. And this fight was back and forth at times. I see a picture of Jamal Hill leading up to the finish as he finished Thiago Santos on the ground. And Thiago early on was trying to wrestle with Jamal Hill. He was going for a lot of takedowns. It wasn't really successful. He might have gotten like one or two, but he didn't really do anything with them. Didn't do a lot of damage, and Jamal Hill had a lot of good moments staying up, and he did hurt Thiago several times, especially when he's fighting at range, because Jamal Hill is a very rangy fighter. But Thiago Santos, did hurt Jamal Hill several times when he decided to stand and bang with Jamal, but Jamal had had the advantage there, and both guys kind of got a little tired towards halfway through the second round. I'm not sure if you noticed that, Dan, but I think both guys kind of got tired around the second round because of the grappling exchanges that Thiago was initiating. and kind of led to some sloppy exchanges standing up between the two. But in the fourth round, Jamal did hurt Thiago when Thiago was near the back of the cage at full straight right. But then there was a moment where Thiago was trying to run away from Jamal Hill, and Jamal catches him as Thiago was running away, and that was basically the beginning of the end. You know, Thiago did land a couple of times on Jamal Hill, but Jamal landed several straights that hurt him, and even dropped him towards the end. During the fourth round that led to the initial finish. And Herb Dean did give Thiago Santos plenty of time to recover and try to get out of the situation, but you really couldn't. Jamal Hill just kept doing very good ground and pound to the point where Herb Dean had to step in as Jamal Hill gets the biggest victory of his career in a very exciting fight. It was the most exciting Thiago Santos fight in a while, and this was the biggest victory of Jamal Hill's career. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on this fight, Dan, before I talk about what could be next for Jamal Hill.
Now, I'm in total agreement with you there. The only thing that I could say that kind of was a bit of what led to the fatigue was it was smart on Thiago Santos' part to go for offensive grappling really throughout the second and the third round, and some parts in the fourth he tried to go for it, but couldn't really get that done there as Jamal Hill's defense and him getting back up was what really helped. But Thiago Santos seemed to have a game plan, and I could see that in the third round that game plan was going to come out and work for him, because he won the third round, and if he continued doing that, then he would have been able to win the round. He would have been able to win the fight, but Jamal Hill got him out, and it was a very big victory. You're absolutely right.
Right, and like I said, it was the most entertaining Thiago Santos fight he had since the Go to Sheriff fight when he came back from that injury. Considering these recent Thiago Santos fights haven't been all that exciting, this was, very exciting, back and forth. Like I said, Thiago did hurt Jamal a couple of times, but Jamal had a better striking and was able to hurt Thiago more. And biggest victory of Jamal Hill's career as he moves up in the top 10 rankings tomorrow. He would definitely be higher up, like 7, 6 probably. And Jamal Hill did call out the Jan Blachowicz, if I'm mistaken. I could have sworn I heard Jan Blachowicz. Right, yeah, and I don't know if he's going to get that fight. I don't blame him for going after Jan, considering Jan doesn't have an opponent right now. But I feel like they're going to do Magomed and Jan in a title eliminator. But for Jamal Hill, he's got options to fight in the top 5 of the division. I'm trying. No, I was going to snare my ranking just still hurts. I just remember Smith has that weird leg injury. Dang. There's Glover and there's. Shoot. Now I'm just realizing who's he gonna fight next? Jamal Hill, considering two top 5 contenders are both injured with leg injuries, gonna be out for a little while.
Well, there's a bevy of opponents he could always go after. It's still the division. He's still trying to go up in the ranking. So there's always there's Ankalaev and there's Blachowicz. Those are the two names he's focused on, and I know those two want to fight each other. But at the same note, if Jamal Hill could stick around to be a replacement fighter for either the Yuri Prochazka Glover Teixeira fight, or maybe even if Dana White and those boys end up signing a Blachowicz Ankalaev fight, then if he stays at least at the backup, then he knows he's healthy, and that'll at least give him a seat up to wherever his next opponent is. And whether it's right or wrong, they could promise him that, hey, after this opponent, if you win, you're next in the title shot. So we shall see.
We shall see. And great performance for Jamal Hill. Hopefully he can work on that cardio because against these higher opponents, if he doesn't have good cardio, it could buy him in the butt, especially against Yuri, Yuri's got really good cardio. That's one thing I noticed watching this fight. It's how good Yuri's cardio was, especially in the last fight. But nevertheless, good performance for Jamal Hill. As we can go to the co-main event, which is between Vicente Luque and Jeff Neal in the welterweight division, as Jeff Neal gets the TKO victory in the third round. And this fight was I was surprised that he finished Luque, especially like that. Luque fell face first. Oh no, my bad. It wasn't TKO. It was KO. I'm sorry. It was a KO. I don't know why that was TKO. And Jeff Neal, he kept landing the straight right. Just kept landing that on all night. That straight right was really doing a lot of damage to Vicente Luque. His nose was busted in the first round. Luque did better in the second round. Landed a lot of body kicks and leg kicks. and it definitely at times was starting to affect Jeff Neal. It looked like Jeff Neal was definitely slowing down towards the end of the second round, all the body kicks and leg kicks he was taking, but Jeff Neal kept attacking, pressing forward and attacking Luke with straight rights and even some uppercuts in the clinch. And I mean, he hurt Luke a lot. And one of the things about Luke, I'm a big fan. You're a big fan, Luke. Sometimes Luke leaves himself to be hittable too much in his fights. And it came back to bite him this fight as Jeff Neal was able to hit him a lot to the point where Luke kept getting wobbled several times. He got dropped in the first round, got up, and like I mentioned, his nose was busted, and it got hurt again that third round, busted up again, and then once Jeff Neal was able, I think it was an uppercut that knocked him face first, right? It was straight right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, straight right.
Once he landed that straight right again, I don't know, he landed at least several of them, and you keep getting hit with that, especially something like Jeff Neal's got finishing power. Eventually, you're going to go down.
It was the uppercut that really, he kept hitting him with the uppercut.
Okay, it was the uppercut that dropped him, right?
Yeah, left uppercut that he kept landing on to drop him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the straight right and then the uppercut in the clinch, and especially against someone who's got power like Jeff Neal, I mean, if you get hit too many times, you're going down, and that's what happened. Luque, I'm a big Luque guy, but he leaves himself too vulnerable in terms of getting hit, and it bit him here in this fight, and this was a very great victory for Jeff Neal. Best victory of his career, and a big-time victory as he climbs in the top 10 tomorrow in the rankings, and this was shocking. I mean, I didn't expect Luque to get finished like that. I mean, I knew he gets hit a lot, but I don't know. Part of me thought that Luque would somehow, if he lost, would be like a decision, not a knockout, especially falling face first. I mean, damn, what a great performance by Jeff Neal.
It was a great performance. I don't want to take anything away from Jeff Neal. I did definitely have a Sensei Luque coming out and winning this fight, and that was if he made the correct changes that was needed to be made after that Belal Muhammad fight. And I don't know, about 25 seconds into the fight, if you were watching this fight, then you could see he didn't make those adjustments. He didn't make those correctments. He was chasing Jeff Neal whenever he had to, go on the offensive with attacking Jeff Neal. He was chasing him as opposed to cutting off the ring. What was a big problem with him against Belal Muhammad? He wasn't cutting off the ring. When he was facing Belal Muhammad, he was never using head movement. So what did he come in here and decide to do? Not use head movement. It was, it was disappointing, yeah, but surprising. Kind of 25 seconds into the fight, I was watching the fight and I went that, this isn't a good Vicente Luque performance, and he's gonna get finished if he doesn't watch himself, which he ended up getting finished. It sucks, but I think Vicente may even need some time away from the sport for a while to just take a break, maybe refreshing himself. Either that or he possibly needs to do a camp change, because if you're going from one fight to the next and you're the loser and you haven't made any correctments, if you haven't made any adjustments, any corrections or anything like that, that's kind of unfortunate, and that could lead you to where you are right now. So I'm a big fan, but something needs to change internally for Luque, because he came out and kind of, that product that he put out, it gets you into the rankings, but that's it. After that, you got to be doing something else to get, the title shots that you're looking for, and he's not doing that yet.
You're absolutely right. Everything you said, especially the part about him not cutting up the cage, which is a good point that he didn't do in this fight also. And just like the Belal Muhammad fight, it came out by him. It's not much worse in this fight than even Belal, because he didn't get finished in Belal. But still, and you're right. I mean, Luque's going to have to make adjustments if he really wants to go for that world title. I mean, the crazy thing about Luque, he's only 28, so it's like 27, 28, but still, he's got to make those adjustments if he really wants to be a world champion one day. And he turns out a great gym in Sanford MMA, but at the same time, he may have to change camps too. Sometimes changing camps can help, or maybe he's going to change the fighter. Either way, he's going to make changes if he really wants to get back to near the title picture like he was several months ago, where if he would beat Belal, he'd probably be fighting Kamaru Usman not this Saturday, but next Saturday instead of Leon Edwards potentially. But yeah, he's going to make adjustments if he definitely wants to get in the title picture. And for Jeff Neal, I mean, this is a guy who lost to Warner Boy pretty decisively at the end of 2020, then lost to Neil Magny last year, like May of last year. He's now won 2 in a row, beat Ponzinibbio, and now he's beaten Vince Luque, knocked him out. Great performance by him, and he's in the top 10 now. He's much closer getting title fights. Wait, he's got options. Jeff Neal, you could probably do him and maybe a rematch with Wonder Boy potentially if they want to do that. You can do him and maybe the loser of Sean Brady and Bilal Muhammad. Next, I mean, just all the guys in the top 10 Jeff Neal can face, and you should see what Jeff Neal does next.
I think right now that really all depends on where Dana White's trying to take the welterweight division, because to me it seems like some old blood is coming out and some new blood is coming in, so you never really know what's gonna happen here. Yeah,
good point. And I just thought about this. Maybe Jorge takes a fight with him and Jorge. They're both in the top 10. I know Jorge's come up with
Jorge's been discussing a fight with Gilbert Burns.
That is true. Him and Gil. That's right. I'm just remembering. I was gonna mention Gilbert, but then you mentioned that. Yeah. I mean, I'll say Jeff Neal could fight either one, though that fight doesn't get made. But I think it will get made. I think it will get made. I mean, I don't know. Wait and see for Jeff Neal. I do like the idea of him facing the loser of Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady. And as we can move on to the next fight on this card, which was an Ultimate Fighter content for finale between Muhammad Usman and Zach Pugh, as Muhammad Usman wins via second round KO, 36 seconds of second round. See the image of Zach Pugh out cold, and it was a counter left that caught Zach, and that surprised me because Zach won that first round pretty convincingly. He looked like the better fighter, tagging Muhammad a couple of times. He was doing very well. And I honestly thought Zach was going to cruise to victory, but Muhammad Usman just hit him with just a nice counter left and just dropped him. I mean, he's got power, Muhammad Usman, and he's a heavyweight too. Although he looks kind of small, I think light heavyweight might be good for him. Maybe that's just me, but he's got power.
Muhammad Usman, I wouldn't put him at light heavyweight. I think he's perfect at heavyweight. I think he, if anything, should try and slim down a little bit more when he enters the ring. That way he can have more fluidity. The power is there because you saw that when he, that counter left, it wasn't like he planted that, with pure stance precision. That was all just torque from, that was all arm. That punch was all arm, and it was enough to get Zach Pugh down. And that was a really good shot by Muhammad Usman. I wouldn't put him at light heavyweight, though. I think he's right at where he belongs at heavyweight. He just may need to slim down and tone up for the division, because these boys in that division, man, they move a different way now. You're not getting the usual, the usual big guy that just has a whole bunch of power and is going to tire out. Those guys are there really from like 5 to 15. But then the top 5 has a different breed of animals, and you also still have John Jones coming in, who doesn't move like your average heavyweight. Cyril Gane doesn't move like your average heavyweight. Tom Aspinall, he doesn't move like your average heavyweight. Curtis Blades, all these guys, Stipe Miocic, all of these guys who are in the the division, they don't move like your conventional heavyweight. So it doesn't hurt to not look like it. But at the same time, to stay in the division, I think he has enough power to, last in the division.
I mean, okay, I don't know. I just thought he looked small for a heavyweight, but that's just me. Maybe, who knows? I mean, maybe you can have success. I mean, Fedor was small for a heavyweight. He had all the great success. Now, I'm not saying Muhammad's Fedor, obviously. He's not, but still, you can be a smaller heavyweight and have some success. But, yeah, congratulations to Muhammad Usman, and I totally agree with your assessment about all these new heavyweights, top 5 heavyweights that are not, there aren't just guys who are slow, who have big power. These guys that move very well and they have more skills. Also, Tai Tuivasa is kind of maybe put in that category. Also, Sergey Spivak, who won earlier in this card, is someone like that as well. So, Muhammad's definitely got to maybe slim down a little bit and tone up if he wants to be like his younger brother. No, his older brother, excuse me, not younger brother. His older brother, Kamaru, and be a title contender, be a champion like him one day. as him and Kamaru become the first brothers to win the Ultimate Fighter. So that's kind of a cool stat. Kamaru Usman won back in 2015, the Black Zillion versus American Top Team Ultimate Fighter season, which I like that season. It's a very unique season. You had two gyms going against each other and two gyms that hate each other too, especially the owners. Dan Lambert, the owner of American Top Team, Glenn Robinson, who was the owner of Black Zillions, freaking hated each other. They talked so much shit to each other. Excuse my language. I mean, that was an entertaining season. But yeah, Kamaru won that season, and Muhammad Usman wins this season. So congratulations to both of them, becoming the first birds to win the Ultimate Fighter. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive, and like I said, no one saw that shot coming, but that was very surprising.
That was, and hopefully for Zach Pagua, I like to see UFC give him another shot because he made it to the finals, and he was doing well in the first round. He won the first round convincingly. Hopefully give him at least another fight to prove himself in UFC.
Yeah. But at the same time, he wasn't a sore loser on social media, accepted the shot for what it was, accepted the loss for what it was, and said he'll come back stronger. So it's always a good sign.
Yep. And we can move on to the other Ultimate Fighter finale. This was the first one, the women's flyweight between Juliana Miller and Brogan Walker. As Juliana Miller wins via third round TKO, 3 minutes and 58 seconds. I see her with the trophy in her corner, her coaches. I want to get a picture of her doing a DX chop because Juliana Miller, literally after she finished Brogan Walker, did a DX chop to her. I'm not kidding you. Go back and watch the fight.
No, I remember that. Yeah,
that was fun. I wanted to find a good picture of it, but I couldn't. And obviously, I can't play clips because copyright issues, obviously. But yeah, dominant performance by Juliana Miller. Dominated her grappling. Really, Brogan didn't want to engage in the grappling, and Juliana Miller made a grappling fight, and she had a clear advantage. And I'm surprised how much he dominated Walker, considering Walker had twice as much experience of fighting as Juliana Miller. Looking at their records, I thought that would be a big factor, considering Walker had 10 professional fights going into the Ultimate Fighter, and Walker only had 4. But it didn't matter. Juliana Miller had a much better grappling of the two, and she used it to her advantage, and she was able to get the TKO victory by ground and pound, and really just dominate Brogan Walker. Very dominant performance by her. Great performance, and like I said, she did push Brogan Walker down. After the ref pulled apart, did a DX chop. Suck it, which was funny, but I don't know. I feel like there might have been tension between the two of them in the Ultimate Fighter. Like they might have beef or something. I have no idea. But great performance and very memorable after post-fights antics, to say the least.
It was memorable. It was a memorable performance. Memorable. What does it say? Not. How do I say? It was memorable after the performance to do that. The performance itself, this wasn't an entertaining fight. I'll let you. It ended in a finish, yeah, but an entertaining fight, it was not.
Yeah, to be fair, if she had another DX chop, I don't think we'd be remembering this fight as much.
Exactly. Yeah.
We remember Muhammad Usman, how he won the Ultimate Fighter, but I don't think we remember Julia Miller as much if she hadn't done the DX chop. Yeah, I mean, but good victory for her, and she got a big victory. And those are the two Ultimate Fighter winners for the season. Muhammad Usman in the heavyweight division and Juliana Miller has both earned contracts for the UFC. So we'll be seeing both of them in the UFC. These were the next upcoming fights. I don't know how many fights they signed. I forget. I think there's 4 or 6 the Ultimate Fighter winner gets when they win the Ultimate Fighter. I don't remember, but we know their next fights will be in UFC. We can move on to the heavyweight division, which was between Sergey Spivak and Agusta Sakai, as Sergey Spivak wins via second round TKO. And Sergey Spivak dominated. I mean, he dominated this fight mostly, especially in the second round, where he got Agusta Sakai in that position where he took him down, just throwing shots. And especially for a while, it just looked like Sakai couldn't really defend. He was trying to, but he really couldn't do anything, despite his effort of trying to defend himself, and Spivak just kept punching him. Spivak was very cautious. He wasn't like throwing a bunch to where he could tire himself out. And he just kept throwing shots, and to the point where the ref had to stop it because Sakai really couldn't do anything. And they were starting to land too. This was another like dominant like TKO finish for him because his last fight was a TKO victory at Greg Hardy back in March where he stopped him via TKO. So Sergey Spivak's going to be ranked tomorrow as we get new ranked heavyweights, especially another guy from Eastern Europe. So good victory for Sergey Spivak.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance. He, like you said, it was just a domineering performance over Agusta Sakai, and there was not much that Agusta Sakai could do.
Nah, there really wasn't. And I mean, it makes, I'll say, these two performances that Sergey's put on just make you realize how good Tom Aspinall is, because then Aspinall put Sergey away very quickly.
Yeah. So, like Spivak, like we said when discussing him, he didn't lose to, bad guys. His last 3 losses were Arlovsky, Tuivasa, and Aspinall.
Right.
Yeah, those are 3 names that you should know. Yeah.
Exactly. Ties-Bow main event in a couple of weeks in Paris against Aragon. And obviously, Tom Aspinall was a guy rising the rankings before he got injured. But yeah, Sergey Spivak, great victory. He's going to fight someone ranked. I have no idea who next, but I look forward to seeing Sergey fight. Probably the end of the year, maybe.
And he looks a lot better, as he's coming out of these fights. Like he's figured out what he wants to do and how he wants to approach the matchup. So I'm excited to see what he does next.
Yeah, definitely. And can speak good English too, but we can as well. And we can move on from there to the first fight on the card, which was Terence Mckinney versus Eric Gonzalez in lightweight division. As Terence Mckinney bounces back and wins this fight via rear naked choke in the first round, 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And I heard someone say this, and I think this is true. This was a very Paddy Pimblett type of victory, where Paddy, Terence got rocked, kind of like Paddy sometimes gets rocked in his fights, but Paddy also does land some shots as well in stand-up. But then the fight gets to the ground where Paddy has the advantage, and Terence clearly had the advantage against Eric Gonzalez. I mean, Eric Gonzalez, once he got up, Terence McKinney went straight. He went backpacked him, got him the rear naked choke, and once he backpacked him and put him the guy's arms near his neck, it was basically over. I mean, Gonzalez didn't really put much of a fight. Terence McKinney was get it easy and make Gonzalez tap. And it was a great performance for Terence McKinney. It bounced back considering his last fight was a loss to Drew Dober, where he dropped Dober twice and got finished. So he needed this victory, and he got a great first round victory to erase that memory of the Drew Dober fight.
Coming in on short notice against Drew Dober, and he put up that much of a firefight against Drew Dober. That was a great performance there. And then you top it off with this. This is also great. Then you have the You have the call out of Paddy Pimblett. That was awesome. It kind of gave some excitement. Let me know that it just lets you know that Terence McKinney is aware of doing something, and he sees a possibility where him and Paddy Pimblett could potentially showcase those two guys could highlight a fight night. But if you know Dana White like that, the fight night's cool, one thing, but I think those two guys could get tickets in the door if you promote them the right way. So as much as he would want that fight, I would want that fight, Paddy would want that fight. If Dana White's smart, he's going to hold off for a little. Let those both two continue to gather some steam, and we put them in front of an audience and see what it does.
Yes, I agree. They're both 27. So, I mean, they're both younger guys, and I can see Dana White putting them against older veterans like McKinney against Quake Guida and Jim Miller against Paddy Pimblett. If they both beat the old guys, then I can see those two fight next. Definitely an arena, especially considering how big of a star Paddy is in the UK. And if Paddy does come over to the United States and does what he does over there and wins, he'll be a big name here in America as well. And he does have a following here thanks to the Barstool deal he has. But yeah, I totally agree. I think Dana White's going to let them at least win a fight or two before they put them against each other. And I understand it. It makes sense. But that they built their name up so that when new fights a bigger deal. But I like the call out from Terence Mckinney. Great performance by him.
Yeah, it was a smart idea. I enjoyed it. And that was just smart career control.
Right. And the prelims, all of them were finishes, but there's one finish that stood out from the rest. One, and that was a knockout of the year contender, in my opinion. Brian Battle gets Takashi Santos. Brian Battle wins via first round head kick KO in 44 seconds. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Look it up because that head kick, oh my god, it was crazy. Look, exactly, Brian Fitzgerald. Look at his face. That was my face. That was your face seeing that if you saw that live or replay. He lands that head kick, 44 seconds, and Takashi Sato's body reaction is like that. And the reason why is because when Brian Battle threw the head kick, Takashi was doing this, like, in late reaction, try to block it, and he fell exactly like that. And it was just crazy. I mean, the reaction that Takashi's body did after getting head kicked, the head kick itself out of nowhere. I mean, damn, that's a knockout year contender. It's there with Chandler Ferguson, Mom McKinnon, and Carolina back in the first London show. This is a knockout of year contender, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a knockout of the year contender. I don't know if it's gonna get as strong. I don't know if it's gonna get as many strong votes, but this was very surprising. This was a nice knockout to kind of help us throughout the year. Let us know that the UFC provides highlights like these every now and again, and this is the reason why you should check out the preliminaries. This was the best knockout of the night. This was the highlight of the card. This
was easily. I mean, his Takashi Sato's body just like froze like this. Like, I mean, when you know it's great head kick knockout when a person's body froze like that. I mean, it was as great as a Crow Cop head kick knockout. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely sent him to the hospital, like the old Crow Cop saying, left foot cemetery, right foot hospital. That right head kick knockout definitely sent him to the hospital.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. Man.
Yeah, other than that, there's one more finish I want to highlight. Cory Mckenna. She had a Von Flus choke. That was very rare. You don't get those a lot in MMA period.
Unless
you don't
you're
get
OSP.
those in professional MMA, yeah, unless you're OSP. But she got the Von Flus choke, so salute to her because that was very creative. I thought she should have went for the crucifix and ended it with elbows, but she knew what she was doing, got the Von Flus and just ended it.
Right, it's crazy because her opponent Miranda Grander, she was right by her coaches, and her coaches were warning her about that or about submission attempt, and she still was able to pull it off. So, and it was the first Von Flus choke in women's UFC. I don't know about women's MMA, but definitely women's division UFC is the first one ever. So she did make history there.
Oh yeah, salute to Cory Mckenna, man. Can't wait to see her back.
Excuse me. Yep, definitely. And overall, this was a very surprising UFC card with the finishes. All finishes, no decisions. I mean, if you're a judge, it was the easiest night you're gonna have probably all year.
Easiest night, yeah. Literally the most difficulty the judges had was the first matchup, Mayra Bueno Silva versus Stephanie Egger, where Mayra Bueno Silva got her in an armbar, and I think Stephanie Egger had tapped, but it was on the side that the referee didn't see, so they had to ask the judges if they saw it. One judge confirms that he did see the tap, so that's how they ended the fight. But yeah, that was the most work that they had to do.
Yep, and apparently that was John McCartney's son who saw that. I was watching weigh in, and they were talking about it, and apparently this is a rule in Vegas, and I think all the states or some of the states, or I think all of them, where if a ref doesn't see a tap and the opponent lets go, they do ask the judges if they see it, and so which I like that rule. I think it's a good rule, so that way if the ref doesn't see it, the judges can let the ref know that this happened, so the fighter can't cheat and cleaned it in tap when they did. I'm glad it happened. This was a good job by Ron McCartney, that Big John McCartney's son, for noticing that and letting the ref know, and the right person won the fight. So give a shout out to Ron McCartney for that.
Yeah.
Overall, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like a surprising card. Entertaining at times. We got knockout year contender Brian Battle. Still don't like your nickname, but damn it, that was a great performance. I'll give you love because you deserve love after that knockout.
But yeah, everyone got a finish on that card, so salute to them, and salute to the people that got their bonuses. As we can move on from that to the next upcoming fight card in MMA, this Friday, Bellator, kicking off on Showtime at 6 p.m. But we have Neiman Gracie versus Goichi Yamaguchi. This is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. We also have Valentin Moldavsky versus Steve Mowry, and Alimale McFarland versus Bruno Ellen. So some big fights on this card here, Austin. Tell me, what do you think about this card coming up?
Big names, big fighters, guys who are coming up title losses, and guys who have fought for championships, or guys who, or ladies in this case, war champion Alimale McFarland. And I'm gonna start with the main event. Two great submission guys, Yamaguchi and Gracie. I mean, obviously, Neiman Gracie is a Gracie. They're coming out the womb practicing jiu-jitsu moves, coming out the womb. And Neiman Gracie's got great jiu-jitsu, 9 of his 11 victories are by submission. Yamaguchi is a great submission guy. I mean, that guy's got 21 submissions of his 27 victories. So these are high-level grapplers. So it usually probably gonna be a stand-up fight. Where's the better stand-up is probably gonna win this fight. That's what it's gonna come down more likely. Will I be surprised if both guys try to see what's the better grappling of the two? No, it could happen, but I expect it to be a stand-up fight. And whoever's the better striker is probably gonna win this fight. I mean, I'm excited to see. I mean, part of me hopes it's from grappling. Part of me wants to see them try to see who's the better jiu-jitsu practitioner of the two. Part of me wants to see that, but I think it's going to be a stand-up fight. And Neiman Gracie's got the best striking of all the Gracie members of the family. So he's got a good one. Yamaguchi's got a good striking. He has a karate background, so could be a good compelling fight. Hopefully it is. And I know the co-main event between Moldavsky and Steve Morway should be should be a good fight. Considering Steve, all his victories are by finish. He's 10-0, 4 TKO, KO, 6 submissions. And Moldavsky has never been finished in his career. He's got 2 losses, but never finished. Now, Moldavsky, the thing is, we know he's tough because his last 2 fights, he's been knocked down. Timothy Johnson knocked him down, almost finished him in his second last fight, and then Ryan Bader did drop him in like the first minute of their fights, which was in January. So we know Moldavsky's got a chin. He can take a punch, but he's been dropped. So you do wonder, can Moldavsky, if Steve Morway might finish him potentially, considering Steve never won a fight via decision. So that's something to look out for. And then you got Alimale McFarland, who should bounce back against Bruno Ella, considering McFarland had that shocking loss to Justine Kish back in April. And I think she should bounce back, considering... go ahead.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I see Deanna Bennett versus Justine Kish on the preliminaries. Why do I feel like this is a rematch?
It is. They fought earlier, but I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to see if maybe someone pulled it out and they're doing a rematch. Yeah, because I saw that too, and I was confused. I'm like
I
fight
feel
earlier?
like, yeah,
they did.
I feel like
Back in February. I'm surprised they're doing a rematch. I mean, unless someone pulled out and maybe one of them stepped in.
I don't see any news of someone else pulling out, but more so than that, it's like, yeah, no one pulled out, bro.
That's That's odd. Yeah, that's odd. They just fought recently. I don't know. I mean, so weird. Yeah.
I don't want to say odd. I think that speaks to something.
Right.
But we'll talk about that another time.
Right. Limited Foreign should bounce back, I think, against Bruno. Although I'm a little concerned. Although, but Foreign did talk about, like, maybe finding out a contract and retiring for MMA. But, you know, usually when guys talk retirement, it could backfire. But she said she's got a lot of fights left, so several fights left. But I think Foreign should bounce back. Speaking of bouncing back, I do want to mention Austin Vanderfort. He's come up with that title loss to Gegard Mousasi, where Gegard beat him pretty easily. Well, yeah, easily and quick.
Convincingly, yeah.
Yeah, a minute and 25 seconds in the first round. He's looking to bounce back against Aaron Jeffrey. It was supposed to be Anthony Adams, but Jeffrey's replacing Anthony Adams. Jeffrey comes in 12-3. He's won 2 fights in a row, including his Bellator debut. His last loss was to Cal Berhalo, who, if you watch the UFC, you're familiar with. He's got back-to-back co-main event victories, and he's fighting on UFC 280 as well, which we'll talk about another day. But still, so his last loss was to him, and he's also lost to Sean Brady when he fought at welterweight, Jeffrey. So his losses are to guys who are doing well. So it's not exactly Shane lose to Cal and Sean Brady.
Yeah. Both those guys, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Short notice, he's got 8 KO and TKOs, 1 submission, 3 decisions. So tends to finish his fights via knockout TKO. Vanderfort is a great wrestler. He's trying to bounce back from that bad loss against Gegard Mousasi, even though it's Gegard. So I'm excited to see how Vanderfort bounces back from that loss. And can he bounce back? Gets a guy in Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm in agreement with you there. I want to see what Austin Vanderfort is going to look like coming out of this, because he tried with a grappling heavy approach against Gegard Mousasi, and that just didn't work. And I want to see, is he going to be able to mix up the martial arts against a guy like Aaron Jeffrey, or is he going to come out with the same same grappling approach to just know that he can, he got it, he just couldn't get it done against a guy in Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah, exactly. And right, and I just want to mention Saeed Soma versus Goham's Serikam. It's in the heavyweight division. Both, Goham's won 3 in a row, and Saeed lost a split decision to Devin Franklin. Saeed, I remember he got that weird victory against, it was a Russian guy in the Fedor car in Russia. Remember they went to Russia, Bellator last October?
Saeed,
he got that weird victory where it was 1-1 going to round 3, and the guy injured his finger. The fight was stopped.
I mean, I don't really remember that. Nah.
It's a
Give
weird
me one
finish.
moment. Let me look it up.
Yeah, it was the Fedor car in Russia. Anyway, Saeed I am familiar with. Goham I'm not too familiar with. I know I looked it up. He's won 3 in a row.
Vitaly Minakov.
Minakov. There we go. That's the name. I was forgetting the name. It was 1-1 going around 3. But yeah, Saeed, they both got finishing power, so it's possible whoever wins this fight is going to win via knockout TKO. So we shall see. It's a good chance for Gohan to get in the rankings of Bellator. But overall, that's the Bellator card. It begins at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific, and the prelims are 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and they're free on YouTube. Free. Just go on Bellator. That's right, for free. Go on the Bellator YouTube page, 6 o'clock. Click on it. You can watch fights for free. The Bellator does a good job giving it that for free, so you can check out some fights, and hopefully someone does stand out in the prelims. Hopefully, it's weird that Deon Bennett and Justine Kish are fighting again. That is odd, but yeah, I'm excited to see Neiman Gracie and Yamaguchi. I like to see who's the better grappler of the two, but I think it's gonna be a stand-up fight, and it should be fun. Both guys have decent, solid stand-ups. Interesting to see who stand-ups better between the two. But it's become a stand-up fight, and we shall see. Excuse me, sorry about that. We go to the UFC card that's coming up this Saturday in San Diego, California. UFC San Diego, Cruz and Chito Vera. Let me just pull up the poster real quick.
Cruz versus Vera. This is going to be a big one for this division.
Oh yeah,
huge matchup. with a lot of title implications, and this division has a lot of title implications to sort out. But this one here, we can say that this one starts off clear as far as clearing house and who belongs where.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go on a limb saying this. I could see a scenario where the winner of this fight fights for the title next. Fights the winner of Sterling and Dillashaw. If let's say one of these guys have a great victory against the other, and let's say Merab beats Aldo, and let's say like Sterling Jan, even if one of them, if Jan wins, even if it's convincingly and Sterling's the champ, I could definitely see the winner of this fight fighting Sterling next for the belt. But there's a lot of variables going into that. But this could be the title eliminator between the two. But you're all right. The bantamweight division, there's gonna be a lot of clarity with this fight and these upcoming fights at bantamweight. You gotta get the bantamweight division credit. A lot of divisions are kind of like stagnant right now, but the bantamweight's not. This next month and a half, a lot of top bantamweight fights. Cruz Vera next week is Merab and Jose Aldo fighting on the Usman Edwards pay-per-view card. Then you got Corey Sandhagen and Song Yadong fighting in September in the main event of that card. And then, of course, UFC 280, Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw fighting for the title. And then the undercard is, Pierre Young against Sean O'Malley. So I got to give the bantamweight division credit. We're going to have a lot of answers within the next 2 months in terms of who's where, who's close to the title fight, what's going to happen. I do like that. And now let's talk about this fight. This is a Dominick Cruz, for those of you who don't know, is one of my all-time favorite fighters. I'm a big Dominick Cruz fan. I'm a big fan of him. I like his style of fight. I like his personality. I like his trash talking. I think he's a great commentator. I am a Cruz fan. Now, some of it is also we share a last name. We're not related by any stretch. We're not related, but we do share the last name. But I've grown to love Chito Vera for the last year and a half. Last year particularly, especially after him and Joe Rogan, after he beat Frankie Edgar in November. I mean, I've grown to like Chito a lot, especially his personality and his fight style, too. He's a very entertaining fighter, Chito Vera. Very action-packed, very fan-friendly. And both guys are coming off winning streaks. Dominick Cruz won his last 2. Chito Vera's won his last 3. And, man, Chito Vera is the favorite. I checked on a UFC website, and via DraftKings, he is the favorite going in. But not like a giant favorite, but still a favorite, though. And, man, I can see both guys win this fight, honestly. I know it's same because Chito Vera can win because Chito Vera's got a lot of power in his hands. I mean, look at the Rob Font fight. Rob Font was outlanding him, especially the first 2 rounds. But Chito Vera came in with those power shots that dropped Rob Font, that really messed him up and really hurt and really like he battered Rob Font. I mean, if you just look at the image of Rob Font after their fights, he was beat up badly by Chito Vera. Even the Frankie Edgar fight, he was, my opinion, I had him down 2-0 going to round 3, and he landed that front kick that knocked out Edgar, and that was a very good front kick that Chito Vera landed. So Chito Vera can come back from adversity. He's definitely got power in his fists and kicks. And I could see him maybe catching Dominick, especially since Dominick's a little older. It doesn't move around like he used to. I mean, he still moves around. You know, Dominick's that weird style of fighting that only Dominick does with the angles and stuff. But it's not as he still does it and still works at times, but at the same time, it's not like it used to. And I can see him catching Dominick and hurting him. But also, Dominick did mention one of the things that helped Chito Vera, and this is true, is that Frankie did get tired in their fight against. Frankie got tired against Chito Vera, and that's what made it easier for Chito to catch Frankie with that front kick. And Dominick does have a good cardio. I've never seen Dominick Cruz get tired ever. And I do wonder if Dominick Cruz, let's say, is able to make Chito Vera miss, and it would tag him in and out and frustrate Chito, and he might be able to get a decision that way because he doesn't get tired, and that maybe can cause Chito to make mistakes. I mean, I could see that happening. I mean, I don't know who to pick. These are 2 guys I really like. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. It's a tough one. I mean, I just hope it's a good fight. I mean, I'm not gonna be up. I'll be happy and upset whoever wins this fight. I'll be happy that guy won, but upset the other person lost because I'm a big fan of both. And I don't want to ramble too much. Go ahead, Dan. Break it down.
I got Chito Vera winning this one via TKO, possibly in the second or third round. I'm going to be that confident in the power. I think this power is different for the division. I don't think a lot of people have the type of power that Chito Vera carries in that division. I think Dominic is going to find out that as much as it was Frankie Edgar getting tired, it's that when a guy is landing damaging shots on you, that can fatigue you as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a tough one. For me, it's tough. I'm a big fan of both of them. Also, this fight takes place, I mentioned, San Diego, Dominic Cruz's adopted hometown. He's from Arizona, grew up there in high school, went there from like childhood. So he was born there, raised there till high school. Then his MMA career kept going. He moved to San Diego, Alliance MMA, and he's lived there for like 15 years in San Diego. So it is his hometown, Dominic Cruz's. So Dominic is fighting in front of his hometown fans, basically, from his friends, and also some family, obviously, that lives there. So I am curious to see how that plays for Dominic Cruz. I don't think you should get him, but at the same time, you never know. I mean, I know he's fought at San Diego before, but that was in the WEC back in the day. I think he defended his belt there, but now he's fighting a UFC main event in San Diego. I mean, I'm excited for this fight. It's definitely great. It's one of the best main events of the year so far for the UFC's put on, in my opinion. Chito and Cruz, considering what's at stake. Both guys are going in winning streaks. Dominic Cruz, a legend. Chito Vera, this guy's been one of the best fighters at the bantamweight for the last 2.5, 3 years. Really, since he's gotten to UFC. I mean, he's had his ups and downs, but he keeps getting better and better. I mean, he's definitely a guy who I can definitely see being world champion for the next 5 years. Chito Vera.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but I'm excited to see what happens in this fight as we move on from the main event into the co-main event here. In the featherweight division, David Onama versus Nate Landwear. And this one's a bit of a toss-up to me, man, because I know David Onama, he was very impressive in his last outing, but the thing is, and Vegas has David Onama as a slight favorite. The thing is, David Onama is coming in on short. What is it? He's coming in on short notice. So as much time as Nate Landwear has had to train, David Onama hasn't. He's had, but I think a quarter of that. So I don't know if David Onama is going to be able to fully show what he's capable of doing.
Oh, see, I didn't know about the short notice thing. That changes it up because, I mean, if that's the case, then it should Nate Landwear should have an advantage, but Vegas sees David Onama as still the favorite. I know David's on a 2-fight winning streak. Nate's won his last fight, but that was back in October, so Nate hasn't fought in a while. Then 9 months, a little over 9 months, and almost 10 months since Nate's last fought. But that short notice thing, I mean, it could help Nate Landwear, but maybe Onama being a little bit more active could lean in his favor. I know Dave Onama has all his fights are by finish. He's never had a decision victory, 6 KO, TKOs, and 4 subs. So if he were to win, I think he probably will finish Nate Landwear if he does win. I think I'm confident going and saying that.
I agree with you there. I think if anything, he would be able to finish Nate Landwear. You're right.
Right, and this is a co-main event featherweight division. I'm kind of confused. I'm kind of confused because I know we know the main event, co-main event, but we still don't know what fight is in order, which fights on the main card, what order, because because for me in my paper it says Yasmin Jaragui against Usman Lucindo is the next fight. Does it say you're over here for you or no?
No, my next fight is Devin Clark versus Azamat Zakhanov.
Okay. Yeah, because Sherdog says that the women's strawweight fight is before that. It's after that, but we'll break down Devin Clark first. We'll do that.
All right. Devin Clark versus Azamat Merz Zakhanov. I want to say Devin Clark because he had such an impressive performance, but it feels like Vegas has something out on Azamat because Azamat's the favorite. Oh, he defeated Tafan and Chukwi with the flying knee earlier in March.
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah. I do remember that.
I don't know if this guy. I'm gonna go with Devin Clark. I think the last time I saw Devin Clark, man, he's just been getting better and better in the ring. Yeah, I know his last devastating loss was to Ion Cutelaba, but then after that, I think he may have went up to heavyweight, lost again, and then came back down and he won against William Knight. He's been really, really good. No, his only loss was against Ion Cutelaba, and prior to that, he lost to Anthony Smith. Both those guys are very big names, and then he defeats William Knight via the elbows and hooks. I got Devin Clark winning this one. I'm confident in Devin Clark. I think he can mix it up well enough.
Devin Clark can win this fight. I totally agree. He can win this fight, but Azamat Merzanov, I don't know. I think granted he is 35. Azamat, I think he's 35 at the moment. So he's got a little late start in MMA, but I feel like he's someone that's he's got the power to definitely hurt Devin Clark and probably knock him out. He's got like 8 KO and TKO victories. He's got the freaking flying knee that happened in March. And something tells me Devin Clark gonna get finished by him. I don't know why. I have this weird feeling that Amzat's gonna get the knockout finish over Devin Clark. Could be wrong, but I think Amzat is pretty talented. I think Amzat's is a guy who can be a contender in lightweight division. Also, I didn't realize this, but Amzat's fought Ian Cutelaba in Combat Sambo, and he basically beat up Ian Cutelaba in Combat Sambo. I know it's a different sport. I know it's MMA, but Combat Sambo is the closest thing to MMA of all the martial arts. So I do. I mean, that's something to watch out for. But it could be nothing. I mean, Devin Clark can beat him too. But I'm leaning towards Amzat. Could be wrong though, because I can see Devin Clark win this fight. Then we can move on to the next fight. Next fight on my sheet, it says Cynthia Calvillo against Nina Nunes. Does it say it for you?
Yep. That's the same one.
Okay. This is a women's flyweight division. Cynthia Calvillo is ranked number 12. Nina Nunes is number 9 strawweight. Nina's coming off the loss to Mackenzie Dern, where Mackenzie beat her. I think, if I remember, it was pretty easy. It was like a first-round submission.
Yep. Armbar in first round.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. It wasn't exactly like a hard fight for Mackenzie. Before that, Nina Nunes, wife of Amanda Nunes, she had given birth to their daughter, and before that, she had lost to Tatiana Suarez. She was ranked number 6 in the strawweight division, and I think Cynthia Calvillo wins. I don't know. I feel like having the Amanda's success. She doesn't have to be like the breadwinner of the family because Amanda is doing her thing. She won her title back. She's still one of the top female fighters in the world.
There's not that hunger to want to be the greatest within the sport.
Right, exactly. It's in Cynthia Calvillo. I know she's had her ups and downs recently, but she still has that drive. She still wants to improve and go out there and try to win. And Calvillo has got good grappling too, kind of like Mackenzie Dern. And I do think not as good as Mackenzie. Obviously, Mackenzie grappling's next level compared to most of these women, but she's got good grappling herself, Cynthia Calvillo, and I do think that will play a factor. I can see Cynthia using her grappling to get a dominant victory over Nina Nunes, and I'd like Cynthia Calvillo's chances. I think she's going to use her grappling to get a victory over Nina Nunes.
I'm in agreement with you 100%, but if there was ever a fight for Cynthia Calvillo to prove that she's hungry, this would be the fight. You're coming off of a 3-fight loss streak. I granted against some tough opponents. Andrea Lee, Jessica Andrade, and Caitlin Chukagian, but you need a bounce-back victory more than ever And if it has to come at the hands of Nina Nunes, and so be it. You got to show that you're hungry. We all watching the same thing that the matchmakers are watching. Are you worthy of getting that next matchup?
Yeah. Are you? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Great point. And I think she is, and I believe she will get the victory over Nina Nunes in this fight. I mean, it's good. It's a good fight, and we can move on to it. For me, it says the opening fight: Bruno Silva and Gerard Mirshard. Does that say anything for you?
I have one more fight on the main card, but Bruno Silva versus Gerard Mirshard. I got Bruno Silva winning this one. I'm sorry. I'm just like, Bruno Silva has been fighting very, very tough competition. And I'm not even gonna lie. I thought he won against Alex Pereira. Me personally, I thought he won. And Bruno Silva's been fighting that caliber of opponents and making them very tough fights. I put him in the same class of a guy like Gilbert Burns. Guys that, you put them up against so-called killers that are supposed to be entering the division, and they kind of start to make them look a little human. Those guys are dangerous because if they start to master their craft, they can make a lot of people look human. And Bruno Silva, I think he's one of those guys. I don't think Gerard Mirshard has an answer for that. Gerard Mirshard, he's a good all-around fighter, but he's not, I don't think he's, all the things he's good at all around in, I think Bruno Silva is better than him in all those areas.
Vegas agrees with you. Bruno Silva is the favorite, minus 295 favorite and going into this fight, and I agree. I think Bruno Silva's going to win. I wouldn't surprise me he knocks out Gerard Mirshard. I mean, Hamza knocked him out. Now, grant, I understand it was 17 seconds, but Bruno Silva's gotten real knockout power. He's got 18 knockouts, TKOs in his resume. And let me check Sherdog real quick. I think it said 18 knockouts. Just want to check real quick, Sherdog, to make sure that's accurate. Give me a moment as my phone is slow. But yeah, Bruno Silva, he took Alex Pereira to decision, which is looking really good considering what Alex Pereira just did to Sean Strickland. Now, part of it is Sean Strickland's strategy, but still, Sean Strickland's was a number 6 ranked middleweight, and he knocked him out. And he also knocked out his opponent, Pereira did in his debut, and Silva took him to decision. To the point where you thought Silva won the fight. I mean, that just shows how good and talented Bruno Silva is. That he had a competitive fight with Pereira, who Pereira's been starching dudes. And I will talk a little bit more about Pereira just briefly at the end of the video because of what happened last week. But yeah, I think Bruno Silva's got 19 KOs, knockouts. My bad, not 18, 19 knockouts. So he's got power. He's also showcased some grappling, and I think he's gonna catch Gerard Mirshard going for a takedown, or he's gonna stop a takedown, keep it standing, and throw something to where he's gonna rock Mirshard and knock him out. I mean, if Hamza can knock him out, then so can Bruno Silva, who's got just as much power as Hamza, if not a little bit more. And he's a consistent middleweight too. Hamza goes back and forth between middleweight and welterweight. Right now he's at welterweight, and but Bruno's a consistent middleweight, so I think that plays a factor as well. And I think Bruno Silva's gonna knock out Gerard Mirshard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the opening fight in the card. Main card.
I still have one more fight: Yasmin Yaragui versus Usman Lucindo. That one, both of these women are. This is an introduction. Both of them, I think, they're either contender series. Yeah, they have to be contender series or from Ultimate Fighter or something like that. A next leftover bout from Ultimate Fighter.
Yes, Yasmin Yaragui is from Mexico. She's making her UFC debut, which makes sense. San Diego, Mexico, right there at the border. She's her UFC debut. Obviously, UFC has been trying to get in the Mexican market and having success now with Brandon Moreno, And you got Yair Rodriguez, Alexa Grasso, who was supposed to be on this card, but her fight got canceled, which is a shame. But I don't remember if she got injured or her opponent pulled out. I forget. It was supposed to be on this card. Alexa Grasso's. Her fight was supposed to be on this card. But yeah, Yasmin's making her.
Withdrew, yeah.
Well, Grasso withdrew. It sucks. But hey, at least they got another Mexican female on this card with Yasmin Jaragui fighting this card, making her UFC debut. It'd be interesting to see like the UFC nerves get to her, because especially fighting in San Diego, obviously a lot of Mexicans. It's like a hometown advantage, or home country advantage rather, fighting in San Diego, being Mexican. It could, does she crack under pressure or does she exceed? I mean, that's the question. And let me just check on Usman Luciano real quick, because this is an introduction fight for me as well to both of these ladies, because I've never heard of them, never seen them fights. Just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. But
this is her UFC debut too. So both ladies are making their UFC debut.
Yeah, both ladies making their UFC debut. So we're gonna find out what both of these women can do. But other than that, the preliminaries have some very interesting names. Matchup I'm watching: Angela Hill versus Lupita Loopy Godinez. That's happening in the strawweight division. I want to see what that looks like. Another matchup for me that I'm watching is the first matchup. It should have happened last week, but it's happening this week between Ariane Lipsky and Priscilla Cachoeira. So we'll see if that fight settles itself here on this card.
I was going to mention Angela Hill and Lupi Gomez on this card, but yeah, that should be an exciting fight. Angela Hill trains in San Diego, same gym as Dominic Cruz, Alliance MMA. Which is a very underrated gym. Doesn't get enough credit for being a good gym over the years. Eric Del Frio, I think it's Del Frio. I don't want to butcher his last name, but he's a great coach, very underrated. That gym is very underrated. Doesn't get enough credit. Alliance MMA, Dominic Cruz, Angela Hill, Kaz Zingano was there for a while. I think he's still there. Jeremy Stevens was there. I think he's still there. And there's some other guys that came out of that gym that had success. Never gets enough credit for being a really good gym. So Angela Hill trains out of San Diego, so it's kind of a hometown fight for her. Hopefully she can get a big victory in front of her friends and some of her family as well. Also, hang on. No, you already mentioned that, the Lipsky and Cachoeira fight. Never mind, you already mentioned that.
Another interesting fight, Ode Osborne versus Tyson Nam. That should be very interesting. Ode Osborne is a name that's been brought up as to be a big time prospect. So be on the lookout for some of these names. They're going to be very, everyone is going to tell you to look out for these people, because these people, a couple of highlights here and there, and they're on their main card stake. Yeah,
good point. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the San Diego card for the main event. The main event is a sexy main event. It's a great main event. It's a two guys, both winning. One's a legend. One is trying to become a legend, like Dominic Cruz, and Chito Vera is trying to become a legend like Dominic. Dominic's a legend who's still winning fights. And like I said, if whoever wins this fight could possibly, not saying they will, but could possibly fight for the title next. Winner of this fight between Chito and Dominic. Dominic being the legend, the guy who former champion, got the name, could definitely leapfrog a lot of guys, especially in his weight class, considering he's, in my opinion, he's the best bantamweight of all time. It's not a dispute. I know Dillashaw may have a case, but I gotta go with Dominic. He's done it longer. Greatest bantamweight of all time. And Chito Vera, if he can finish Dominic Cruz, the legend who's still winning fights, especially his adopted hometown, San Diego, and he's on a 4-fight winning streak, he could definitely leapfrog a lot of guys, especially if all the losers. If all the losers, he definitely can get the next title fight, because Chito did lose to Aldo. I mean, she could definitely make a great case for him getting a title fight next if he's ready to finish Dominic Cruz and all the losers. So, I mean, the winner of this fight could fight for a title next. I'm excited for that. Should be a great fight. I mean, I'm glad. I can't wait for Saturday. Saturday at 7 p.m. The main card starts 4:30 Pacific. 4:30 Eastern is the prelims of this card on ESPN Plus. Definitely excited.
Yeah, and please be on the lookout to watch Bellator on Friday. Please, guys, prelims start off on YouTube for free. You can just go to the Bellator page, subscribe to them, hit the bell, or even if you just want to try it out, they have the video right there to be just give you a notification of when the video drops, so you can watch preliminaries.
Right, I do want to mention this. I mentioned his name earlier, Alex Behera. It was announced last week that on Thursday, I believe, that Alex Behera is going to be fighting Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title at Madison Square Garden, November 12th, UFC 281. So that's the main event. Chandler and Poirier is the co-main event. That's a great main event, co-main event combo for the Garden. It's a great one. Israel and Behera got history. After the 2 kickboxing fights, Behera beat him twice, knocked him out the second fight. It makes sense. I know some people were kind of surprised that Behera's game. Some people, not a lot, but some people are surprised that Behera's game this big push to the title fight. But it makes sense. There's no one else in the division for Israel to fight. He's beating everybody in the top 5. I mean, Vittori Whitaker twice, although the second fight was close, competitive. So, and then you got he just beat Cannonier. Sean Strickland lost, so you can't put him in Strickland. I mean, it's really nobody else but Behera, and Behera has those 2 victories in kickboxing over him. So this matchup makes sense.
I'm excited for the matchup, excited for the card as it plays out. We still don't know what the full card details are, but we're still waiting as a lot of things get announced. But yeah, I'm excited for that. That sounds like a Madison Square Garden. They're gearing up to put something in the Garden. I'm excited to see what Dana White turns out with.
Yeah, I agree. Great main event, co-main event. Like I said, Poirier and Chandler is going to be at that card as well. It'll be a great co-main event. Who knows? Paddy Pimblett, I think if he's going to make if he's going to return to the United States, it should be at the Garden, not Boston. That's just me personally. Unless you're going to do a big Boston card, well, that's another story. But yeah, I mean, it also is on November 12th. Now, why I mentioned November 12th is because 29 years ago on November 12th in Denver, Colorado, 1993, the first UFC took place. November 12th, 1993. So that's a significant day for UFC. 29 years, UFC is going to have another pay-per-view. Going from Denver, Colorado to Madison Square Garden in less than 30 years. It's pretty impressive when you think about it. Although the first UFC, I think, was at the Nugget Arena, the arena where the Nuggets play. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to say it just shows the growth that the UFC has been making.
Yeah, man, it's pretty impressive. We'll obviously talk more when that card comes, obviously, but I just want to mention that because that is big news. Israel and Behera fighting for the title at Madison Square Garden. That's a big deal. So, yeah, anything else you want to mention before we end the stream?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching and listening to us. Whether you're watching us on YouTube, Rumble, or even Twitch, or also listen to us on podcasting platforms like Google, Apple, Spotify, podcasting, any of the podcasting platforms. Appreciate the love, support. We also appreciate Brandon in the chat who commented earlier. We're doing well, Brandon. Thank you for this comment. We appreciate it. We do read your chats afterwards. Once towards the end of the show. Don't think we're just ignoring you guys. We're not. We're just get focused on MMA. We sometimes forget. We're just focused on this thing. Excuse me, can't talk today. We're just focused on covering the sport that we wait to the end and acknowledge. Read your comments, acknowledge. Your comments. We appreciate the support, love, where you chat us, live chat or etc. Thank you guys so much, and can't wait for Saturday. Like I said, I'm gonna be happy and sad, whoever wins and loses, regardless, because I like both guys. And I can't wait for Saturday. It's gonna be a great main event, excellent main event, San Diego, California. That crowd's gonna be awesome, especially when Dominic Cruz comes out. I mean, can't wait to see the crowd reaction. I didn't even mention that, but yeah, crowd could be great.
Most definitely. Hopefully they have enough energy to, if any of the other matchups are not doing what they're supposed to do, that crowd should keep it real enough to let them know.
Right, exactly. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Good night. Every time watching us, we'll be back next week. Break down this card and preview UFC 278. Usman and Edwards 2. I'm Austin and Chef Dan. And peace.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are